John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing a really cool head. It's called the Wedgehead. Now, if you watch my channel for very long, you may think, wait, a few years ago you tested the Wedgehead. And I did, but now they've come out with a much improved Wedgehead. And so I'm really eager to put this thing to the test. And for all the testing, I'm going to be using my protocol for 2025. For a detailed description about that, please check out the video I posted earlier this year called 2025 Broadhead Test Process. It'll explain it all to you. And I'm using my Elite Archery compound bow, and I'm using my Killer Instinct crossbow for the flight testing. And for all the shooting, I'm using my Bishop Archery arrows and bolts. Let's zoom on in here, go through some of the design features and specifications, and then put this head to the test. Here's a good look at this new Wedgehead. Man, I love the looks of this thing. Okay, I like the original that came out. I tested that a few years ago, but this is just a whole different level. The old one was cast, okay, and it was a single piece, but it was cast steel. This one is machined out of a 1045 chunk of steel. So it's machined out of one piece of steel, and you can just see the quality difference and feel the quality difference. It's going to be a lot more durable. This is a 125 grain vented model, and so on the website it's called the original, but it's not the first one that was made. Those were just the original. This is the original 125 grain M model for machined, I think. Now they also make a 175 grain model. That's the 175 grain M model. That's the machined one. And man, this looks all kinds of wicked too. I look forward to testing this one in the future. That one's going to be really nice. I would imagine with this venting, that's going to have some noise in flight. This one, what I would imagine, would be very quiet in flight. Okay, so let's go through some of the dimensions that make this head really unique. First of all, the cutting diameter here is 1 1/4 inches. So nice size cut in its maximum diameter there. But then it's got these extra wedge blades that on the original were not sharpened, and on this one, this new one, they're really sharpened. And they're really like a wedge. Like I'll show you with this heavier one. You see it there? Yeah, you can see. I mean, these are the blades, and they're not just thin little blades. They're like a full-on wedge that starts narrow and is just going to pry bone and tissue apart and help open up a wound channel for the arrow to glide through and just for all kinds of blood to come out of. So it's got this extra wedge cut here, and that's a 9/16 of an inch cutting diameter. So 1 1/4 here, 9/16 here. Total cut size is 1.8 inches. But not only that, you've got 1.8 inches, but really thick blades. Like I showed you with the wedge, that's really thick. But even the main blades, let's see if we get to focus, even the main blades have a thickness of 0.13 inches. So you're opening up a wound channel that's not just a thin little, like 0.03 inches of cut, but man, it's 0.13 inches. That's going to be a gap, kind of a wound that is not going to really be easy to close up. So you're displacing a lot of tissue with this broadhead. It's also really short, just to maximize flight and to reduce friction and penetration, just 1 inch in overall length there. And these are made 100% in the USA. Oh, and I also want to add about the steel that it's brought to a Rockwell hardness of 52. So they find that to be a good balance of being really durable and sharp, but also not so difficult to resharpen. And they have this 50-degree bevel, 25 on each side, so it's not too difficult to resharpen. For resharpening, I would use the new one, the new sharpener by Stay Sharp Guide. They have a new model that's come out called the Answer. And they call it the Answer because it fits a lot of broadheads that they previously were not able to come up with a guide to sharpen. So now they've created this new one that can be adaptable to fit all kinds of different broadheads, like this unique wedge head. So I would use the Stay Sharp Guide, The Answer, to sharpen it there. And for the price, these are $25 each. Again, that's what happens. It gets a little spendier when you're using this kind of a steel and when you're machining it like that. But I was so impressed with the broadhead that I reached out to them and asked them if they'd give me a discount code, and they did. So you can save 10% by using the discount code LUSK10. So it's no longer just $25 each, it's like $22 each or something. Okay, it saves you a bit of money. But hey, I really look forward to putting this head to the test and seeing how it performs. The Wedgehead got the bullseye. It took 180 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a bonus for being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated 8 inches. It took an additional 35 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.3 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 53 layers, which is a 7.57 on a 10-point scale, and is actually really good given the thickness of those blades. And it's in flawless condition after the 3 shots through the MDF. And it's still in flawless condition after 2 shots through the steel plate. I mean, you cannot even tell that it's been shot at all. And look at these holes. They're really impressive because they're so wide. You can see how the width of the blade just really takes a chunk out of that steel plate. Here it is after all the durability testing. Did perfectly well through the MDF and the steel plate. Couldn't even tell it had been shot. And then it held together quite well into the center block. The only damage is there's a little bit of a bend. You can see like bend down, bend up to the blade. Very little, and you can see a little bit of a wobble. But really impressed with the durability of this broadhead. So what'd you think? Man, I don't just like this head, I love this head, okay? I loved it when it first came out, but they've made some huge improvements. This one is so much better even. I mean, it's so much sharper, it's so much more durable. I just love everything about it, and I can't wait to test the solid model, the 175 grain. I like this head so much, and it performed so well that I reached out to the owner and I said, hey, would you be willing to give me a discount code that I could pass on to my viewers? And they did. So if you use a discount code, LUSK10, then you can save 10% on any order of the wedge heads. So I hope you can check that out because I think you'll really like these as well. But you check out the score sheet and see how they performed in the areas that matter to you the most and see if they might be a good fit for you. And stay tuned for the overall cumulative score as well as the corresponding LUSK grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the different discount codes that I can pass on to you just to save you some money, like with the Wedgehead. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time.